It's the second to last race of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series season. One of the last chances to score points and put together a run to make the top 20 in points. Some drivers have already accepted their fate of missing the next round, while one driver in particular, Donovan Strauss, can lock himself in tonight to the top 20 with a good enough finish. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the penultimate race in the second round of the 2021 eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series season, live from iRacing's virtual Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Glad to have you along for the ride, everybody. Jacob Hitz, Sean Butler, Kevin McAdams here with you. Justin Melillo down on pit road. Zach Johnson, our producer for tonight. Eric Messer running the social media between both splits tonight. Guys, this is the race on the schedule that we had circled for the chaos. It's Bristol. It's a short track. These guys fly around here, and there's not a lot of room for error.
Definitely not. Bristol is one of the fan favorites, of course, for many reasons. Number one, races here are a lot more fun to watch than the auto race in, of course, because nobody has to deal with the chaos but the drivers. Second, though, anything can happen in Bristol. You know, we've seen crazy things happen in the real life Bristol, seen plenty of crazy things happen in the simulated Bristol, but all things remain the same. Whoever can tame this place, whoever can stay out of the most trouble, I think, is going to end up being the biggest beneficiary of this race tonight.
And Kevin, if you are on the outside of the top 20, trying to make your way into the top 20, how in the world can you put something together at a racetrack where you make a mistake and it could cost you 5 positions, maybe more, and God forbid if you crash, you're pretty much in for one long night?
Well, we've seen, you know, especially over the last few years here at Bristol, it's really hard to pass, and it's really hard to make up spots from where you start. So I think we're going to see a lot of guys gambling on pit strategy, and I think we're going to see a lot of guys maybe trying this new inside line. They gripped up the inside line a little bit, so we may see a lot of side-by-side action, but I think you're going to have to take a lot of risk in order to get through the pack, especially if, you know, you're on the outside looking in. And if you're on the very, very tip of the bubble there, you got to watch out for the people that are around you. It's only 200 laps tonight. It's essentially a sprint race here at Bristol, but a lot can happen very quickly here at the concrete monster that is the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Let's take a look at the points and see where we're at right now with this season. 2 races to go. Tonight at Bristol. We come back in 2 weeks and wrap up at Phoenix. Donovan Strauss is leading the points. He has won a lot this season. As I mentioned in the open, he is the only driver that can leave tonight locked into the next round, locked into this top 20. Everybody else is still going to be at risk going into the race next week, or in 2 weeks at Phoenix. Strauss has won 3 times already. For everybody else, the pressure is still on.
Absolutely. I mean, Donnie puts himself in a great position with a great finish tonight, not having to worry about anything. If I'm these guys, though, you got Brian LaPrade, Jordy, Parker, Retzlaff, Cody Bias making up the top 5. You can't relax at all. You don't want to go into the last week with having to finish a certain spot or having to kind of have a criteria to lock yourself in and make it to the next round. You want to set yourself up to be as comfortable as possible in a couple of weeks here at Phoenix. And not quite sure if Bristol's the place you want to try to do it, but nonetheless, this track is very unforgiving, as Kevin said. And if I'm guys like Omar Diallo, Michael Finlayson, Casey Tucker, Liam Brotherton just clinging on to spots, my guard is especially up for this race tonight.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see where these guys wind up on the racetrack. Let's take a look at where in the world we are here at Bristol. We started 2 weeks ago. Oh, where the heck were we 2 weeks ago? I forget already. Here we are at Bristol nonetheless.
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Where are we, Bill?
Where we were. Texas.
Right. It's easy to forget Texas. Don't worry about it.
No wonder I can't remember it. We were at Texas 2 weeks ago. This week we're at Bristol. The banking very, very high. Concrete surface. This racetrack doesn't have PJ1. It doesn't have resin or anything on the racetrack. It's basically pure, which I think is a good thing for these guys. They have multiple grooves that they can work around.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this place, as we see the monitor here, the big screens are almost as big as the entire track. But Kevin, to what we've been saying, this place is just absolutely unforgiving. And not only do you have to be consistent the whole time, but you got to have a set line this whole way around. It'll vary. As you mentioned earlier, the bottom is going to be a fast way around. The top might be later. So you got to figure out which part of the track you want to run to stay consistent here.
And it really depends on who runs where. You know, we see with this current tire configuration that the more a line is rubbered in, the faster it ends up. And, you know, here at Bristol, I know, you know, our good friend Blake Reynolds has mentioned that running the bottom here, even before the recent change to the surface, did save tires. So, you know, if you want to run for the long run, you may try to paint that inside line the best of your ability. But if you want to try and make passes and make it quick, you may want to run right up against the wall. It's going to be, I think we're going to see a lot what we saw during the Coke Series race on Tuesday. We're going to see some 2 and 3 wide racing. And like I mentioned before, 200 laps tonight. You got to make it happen quickly here around Bristol. It's going to be fun for sure.
It is going to be a lot of fun to see what these guys can put together as qualifying is done. Let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's race. Starting on the pole, we have Seth DeMerchant. No, there's no way that's right. Yeah, no, it is.
You are right.
Yep. Wrong. Cool. Seth DeMerchant starts from P1. Well, of course, I look over my timing and scoring, and it has everybody in numerical order in sim 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based off of the number that's slapped on the side of their car, and I don't understand why, because it's also position order. But nonetheless, DeMerchant is on pole. Colin Keister will be to the outside, then Nicholas Shelton, Liam Brotherton, Brian Mercurio, Drew Farinars round out the top 6. Then it's Michael Cozy Jr., Spencer Burns, Logan Helton, and Tucker Minter rounding out that top 10.
10 through 20 will look like this. We got Colin Bowden will start off 11th. Agnio Filippo roll off in 12th. Donovan Strauss, guys, this might be something to watch. He's almost mid-pack in 13th.
Free agent, by the way.
Free agent Donovan Strauss. So now that'll be an interesting play here. Dalton Collins will roll off in the 14th spot. Brandon McKissick will come off the grid in 15th. Brian Lockwood, 16th, dog barking. 17th is Daniel Eberhardt. Michael Finlayson, 18th. Jeremy Davis will be 19th, and Kevin, if you've wrangled the dogs, Max Brady will roll off 20th.
Rolling off 21st as the dogs are going crazy behind me. Nate Stewart will roll off in 21st. Kyle Peddle, we normally see him up front. He will roll off in the 22nd position in that very bright green number 13. Seth Noel, 23rd. Kenny Brady rolling off in 24th. Good friend of Justin Melillo there. Derek Fulton in 25th. Christian Budd will roll off in 26th. Marco Periglia in the 27th position, did not take a time, as well as the number 15 late model extraordinaire, Caden Honeycutt. He will be shotgun on a very small field in comparison here, guys. 28 drivers tonight. He will roll off P last here at Bristol.
Yeah, I was about to say, we don't even have 30 guys in the field. It is a small amount, but we did hear from some guys, including Chris Overland, say, I'm not going to make it. It's not worth my time. He skipped the race. He ain't here. And I think that's the mindset of some of those at the back of the grid. As I mentioned, only one driver can lock himself in, and that is Donovan Strauss. On the outside, though, there are plenty of guys that need to finish well if they want to have a shot next week. The first one that needs that help, Ben Nelson, he's 34. He needs to finish 34th or better. He is not in this field. No, he's not. So we'll have to see in the other split. I'd imagine if we have 28, they'll have 28 or 29. So he should be safe. The guys right behind him, though, that need help, Ryan Hill, Brian Blackford, they need to finish 28th or better if they want to have a shot next week or in 2 weeks.
Absolutely, they do, and it's going to be pivotal tonight. We'll take a look at the weather conditions here, as our producer Zach Johnson loves to do. It's his favorite part of the broadcast. It's a little steamy out there, 87 degrees. Wind speed just picked up 1 mile an hour as I was talking. Now went up again. So winds are swirling. Oh my God, it keeps going up. Winds are swirling around Bristol. 88-degree track temp. But guys, the time for talk is over. It's time to get down to it. Pace car's going to duck off here. We're getting ready for 200 laps around the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Keep the engine on the pace car running, because I think we're going to need it here soon. DeMerchant's on the gas. Green flag, we're racing from Bristol. And they go off to turn 1. Yeah, DeMerchant's gone. Keister holding down the fort in second, but Nicholas Shelton is right on the back bumper off too.
And I would not rule out Nicholas Shelton at all. If you've raced with him in official races before, anytime, he is one of the fastest oval drivers on the service. So keep an eye out for him in an all-green truck. But Kevin, they're all right on the bottom right now. Oh, we got a little bit of trouble back there on the
turn two.
stretch.
A big
One
accident.
truck is
These guys are all
sideways.
over the place trying to avoid them.
Spencer Burns got turned. Great job of avoidance by these guys, but Jacob didn't take long for us to get our first caution here.
No, and there's a lot of damage in the back of the field from people running over each other. Jeremy B. Davis got the back end of that truck completely caved in. He got contact, I believe, from Kyle Peddle, who just couldn't get on the brakes fast enough. Had another truck bounce it off the outside wall behind him. That is Michael Guerrilla. No, it's Derek Fulton that slapped the wall. There's the replay to send Spencer Burns around to bring out the first caution.
And, you know, we may see some of these guys have damage. You would think, you know, air doesn't really matter here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but these guys put tape at the very limit of these engines, and any kind of aero damage does impact the cooling of said engine. So we may see a couple of these guys involved in this, the first, Slap 2 incident. Some of these guys might have to come in and make some adjustments to their trucks already.
That was Tucker Minter that got into the back of Burns and got him sideways to bring out the first caution of the night. I said it wasn't going to take long, and sure enough, they followed through with that.
And I think Seth Noel, one of the spotters in this race, just said it great in the race chat. So not very surprising to start this one off, but it's Bristol, so you got to expect these things. And I said it nauseam in the beginning of the race, the winner will most likely be the guy who survives all the incidents. Don't do yourself any favors wrecking on lap 2. But by the way, good job of avoidance by everybody there. Didn't mention all that much. That could have been a lot bigger than it was, but only, I think, 3 cars ended up getting a lot of damage. There you see Tucker Minter with most of it here. He slapped the wall on the right side of that truck.
Don't worry, the other split, same story. They wrecked in the first 5 laps as well. So we're both off to a great start tonight. Dylan Alt, Jordy Lopez Jr. involved in that. Sounds like Blake McCandless, at least speechless from that. Not entirely sure if he was in that.
That doesn't happen very often. Blake McCandless speechless.
So we'll have 6 laps complete, I think, on a restart.
No one to go here. Pace car lights are still on.
Oh, brother.
Heavy cleanup.
Here, Bristol.
Heavy cleanup on the backstretch.
We're going to be here a while. If we keep doing this, we're going to need
still trying to get damage fixed.
Entertained.
I think.
Justin, I
was about to say.
Our pit reporter has something for us. What you got?
Well, I don't got much, but thanks for having me here tonight. These guys are going to be racing 200 laps around this half-mile concrete Coliseum that they've got here at Bristol, Tennessee. They do have 6 tire sets. If they have a lot of cautions, we'll probably see them use them. If you got them, use them. But we're probably not. If it does go green, they are at a limited field. If they do go green, we could see guys try to stretch it the entire way. Otherwise, one pit stop is probably going to be the meta for this race.
The meta. On the green, though, by the way.
200 laps on a set of tires. Man, that is unfathomable, it seems.
Elliott Sadler did it once.
Speaking of Elliott Sadler, look at the scheme on Liam Brotherton's car, the number 9, a throwback to Elliott Sadler's winning scheme back here in 2001.
20 years ago.
Fun stuff, yeah. It has been 20 years since Elliott Sadler got his first win at Bristol. Green flag. Step the Merchants back on the gas. Second verse, same as the first. He's got a 2-truck length lead heading into turn 1.
So still side by side. Shelton's going to clear himself. That'll move Elliott Sadler / Liam Brotherton back to 4th. Brian Mercurio follows him. First side by saddle is Drew Freenage and Michael Cozy Jr. right back there with him, but they got to deal with that 63 truck. That is that all red machine. Looks like that's Logan Helton off of turn 2.
Helton sneaking his way up into the top 10. He's currently running in position number 6 as he comes off the corner, trying to hold off Agnell Phillip right behind him and get to Brian Mercurio, who's just up the road in the 5th spot.
And Sean, I think on that first run, you were going to throw it to me about this inside line. Everyone in the front 7 or so are really trying to get down to the bottom. Logan Helton even went to the bottom, and at the moment he is being challenged for that 6th position, but he desperately wanted to get to that inside line. But it looks like as this run goes on, even we're only 4 or 5 laps into it, that outside line's starting to get a little bit of speed. Phillip gets around Logan Hilton for 6th, but as soon as he does, it's almost like a super speedway. Right back to the bottom he goes, and as soon as I say that, back to the top behind them, they're still side by side for 8th on back.
Got to go to whatever line is going to get you the best run. Really, it doesn't matter whether there's a truck there or not. If it's going to get you the more speed around this racetrack, you're going to go for it. And Helton's just kind of picking his lanes, inside, outside, trying to do whatever he can to get by these guys. He has struggled so far this season, looking for a good run here tonight.
Logan Helton got a little bit of a shot down the backstretch from that 95 at Dalton Collins. They keep it straight. But going back to what Kevin was talking about with the lines, the top is going to be the faster way around. The problem is you heat your tires up so quickly running higher on the racetrack. So these guys have to take into account the risk reward for running the top, as they're still side by side. But it looks like we got a battle for the lead as here comes Colin Keister looking at the outside of Seth the Merchant.
Let's see what Keister can do around the outside. Keister's already won at least once this season. Leads that lap, and he will be clear, I think, coming off turn 2. Yes, he will. New race leader, sideways off turn 2, right behind him, though. That was the 95 of Dalton Collins, I think, that got sideways. Cozy's going to shoot the gap up the middle. Lockwood up high got sideways. They're still 3 wide now with Bowden in the middle. I think they're going to hold on to it. Cozy picked up at least 2 spots in the process, but that 95 of Dalton Collins is out of control.
What a save by Collins, but what great awareness for these guys to go 2 and 3 wide around, and they were stacking up big out of turn 2, and they're still all over the place, making this whole entire track work for the time being. Lockwood almost up against the wall. So is Donovan Strauss. These guys are starting to navigate this very, very wide now, it seems, Bristol Motor Speedway. Thankfully, they have this little inside grip, and I think that's going to make this race a very dynamic one, as Sean mentioned in the pre-race. We're going to see a lot of guys going from the top to the bottom and inverse on that strategy as this run goes on.
That is the key, though. As the run goes on the restarts, it's kind of every man for himself. Once you got a green flag running, though, I think that's when you're really going to start to see folks pick and choose their lines and not just be committed to one or the other. We've seen Logan Helton bounce around a lot. He's now in P8 on the inside line. Here comes the 22, Brian Lockwood, trying to roll that outside line.
And they're still making progress to that middle line. I was looking at Brandon McKissick in the number 8 truck right there. Really made the top side work, was able to get around the 63 back there and falls himself in line, but now he's got to look at Brian Lockwood as he gets loose.
Logan Helton is saved it.
Oh, wow. Back up. They're going to get around him, too. Man,
Lockwood got the wall, too.
Unbelievable.
Now
he was up 8 spots.
Now we're hearing Brian Lockwood blew his engine there.
Yeah.
And he's coming to pit road.
Yeah, he's down on speed. He is not accelerating.
Man.
Brian Lockwood's truck just hand grenaded. Yeah, it just blew up on him. He went down in the corner. I don't know if he missed the shift, or I don't think he would shift around here, but that thing just hand grenaded in the middle of the corner.
Look at him. You know, I don't see
too much tape.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I mentioned, with that first incident, you know, between Tucker Minter and everybody, if you get a little bit of contact on the front end of the car, or in this case, the truck, it really does affect the way these cars cool down. And he might have gotten a little bit of contact on that checkup, and that might have been all it took for the engine to just grenade there. That's a tough break for the 22 and Lockwood. Very early exit for him.
Brian Lockwood in points. Taking a look, he is 41st.
That'll do it for him.
In points, he is 23 out of the cut line. So a bad finish tonight is not what he needed. He's going to need a lot of help in 2 weeks when we go to Phoenix.
And taking a look around the track right now, we haven't really gotten an update on our biggest movers so far, but I haven't really mentioned Donovan Strauss's name all that much, our point leader. Most wins coming into this week, started midway in the field around 13th, currently sitting quietly in 7th right now, so kind of keeping that truck relatively clean if you just disregard the rear end of it. But the front end's where you need the grip, and so far, Donnie's doing a good job so far, sitting comfortably in 7th.
And we've been told by him that, obviously, the news came in earlier this week. He left Elliott Sadler Esports. It sounds like if he's able to win tonight, we may find out who he's going to be working with. That's if he wins. I assume if he doesn't win, we'll find out that news sooner or later. Either way, but a good run so far for Strauss, of course. his average finish is what, like
Two.
Two and a half, maybe.
Let's see. His average finish is 2.6. He has won 3 times. Finished, I think that's 9th at Texas.
Abysmal.
And then 7th at Watkins Glen, something like that. I mean, just rotten. There you see 6th at Texas, 4th at Watkins Glen. Rotten finishes at Watkins Glen at Texas, clearly.
Unbelievable.
He's the only guy to have won 3 races so far. Keister, our race leader, has won the last 2. One at Rockingham, one at Texas. And that's a great rebound for him considering he missed the race at Homestead.
Can we just take a moment here to just bask in the glory that is the bottom line here at Bristol? It has been maybe 10 years since they had this track on the surface, and we are running the bottom at Bristol Motor Speedway. Minus a couple guys in the back running that outside line. It is just nice to see. Got the leaders all on the bottom. Donovan Strauss, by the way, if he does end up finishing where he is right now, I don't think we're going to have to worry, at least for him. He is still Donovan Strauss, and me and Sean know very well. He is probably one of the best drivers I've seen that's come out of the scene, the last couple of years. I think he will be just fine. As right in front of him, we have a battle for the 5th position. Here comes Agnell Phillip around the outside of Brian Mercurio. And like we said, Jake, I think that outside line will be the passing lane tonight. But if you want to run for the long run, that inside line is going to be the way to go.
Help save your tires down there a little bit. With that bottom lane is Phillip will take P5. Mercurio going to peek back to the inside, though. And Nicholas Shelton trying to work on that 57 of Seth DeMerchant. He hasn't been able to get by him quite yet, but he's getting closer and closer and closer.
And Seth, what I was looking off at turn number 2 that last time, Seth might be searching a little bit. As you see, he enters the corner a little higher and then cuts down on exit. As you see, his exit's much lower than Nicholas Shelton there. So that truck might not be handling the way the guys at Logitech GLTC Sports might want it to handle, especially Seth. So he's got his hands full right now with that truck, and it might just be a matter of time before Shelton can find his way around. But Seth searching for a grip as much as he can, still able to maintain second, though. How much longer, we'll see.
Gotta wonder if maybe he set that thing up for the short run. Not expecting us to get very far. He was right about that first couple laps, but we've been able to sort it out since then. That Logan Helton half spin kind of split the field up and spread it out around the racetrack, which has kind of helped this green flag run continue to progress. As still 2nd through 6th or 7th, relatively close. Shelton still trying to beat down the back door. Can't get anything there, and Elliott Sadler, Liam Brotherton right behind him, trying to find a gap to get around. He takes the outside line here in turn 1.
We saw, at Rockingham, Liam Brotherton was one of the first guys to try that newly found outside line, and right now he is back up there again. But on the inside line, here comes Shelton. He's trying to make that inside line work, and not right now. He's going to have to settle in for 3rd. Seth DeMerchant now playing defense, and he is hemorrhaging time to our current leader, about half a tenth to a tenth slower. And here at Bristol, very, very small track. If you're a 10th off, that's a really quick way to get lapped soon. But right now, Colin Keister has set sail, and right behind him, they have a gaggle battling from 2nd on back.
We do have important news in the battle for the top spot in the championship. Over in the other split, Jordy Lopez Jr. out. Won last week at Texas. Had a great string of top 5 finishes from Homestead on. Struggled a little bit at Knoxville. But he will finish, 27th, 28th?
Man.
29th?
In that race. He was 9 points behind Donovan Strauss coming into tonight. He's had a top 5 in every race thus far, an average finish of 3.4. And that's going to blow that all up. That could put Lopez at risk, depending on those that are behind him and where they finish.
And he's going to be hoping for a lot more drama to happen in this race. Right now, though, everyone's been fairly quiet. I mean, it's only been a 1 caution race is what we like to see here as the field starts to get more and more spread out. But eventually, they're going to be catching to the rear end of the field and having to go through lap traffic. And one thing that Kevin kind of touched on this in the pre-race show is the difficulty to pass at this track, especially when the tires get more and more laps on them. You'll see a bunch of guys trying to get out of the dirty air, trying to find more grip wherever it is. If you look a little further back from this group here, from like Donovan Strauss to like Daniel Eberhardt, Brandon McKissick, pay attention to the lines these guys are running back here. So McKissick's going to go probably to the high side here. Strauss going to go, and then they're just behind. They're just going to go where they're not. So you see right there as Colin Bowden's just chilling right back here. But look at the different lines. You got guys running the top, guys running the bottom. Bowden's just back here chilling, trying to find out where to go. So at this point of the race, Jacob, it's going to be crucial to see where the grip is going to come from and how you can use it.
Well, a lot of the folks in the back half of the field are running the outside line compared to the inside line. A lot of the leaders, though, have chose to run the bottom line so far in this long green flag run. We're already 50 laps into this deal. Make it 51 as Colin Keister, long gone. He's got more than a second over Seth DeMerchant. Then it's Shelton, Brunnerton, Mercurio, the top 5. Agnew Phillip, then Donovan Strauss. McKissick's there. Eberhardt, Bowden, the top 10. Battle for 12th. Drew Farinars, Jeremy B. Davis. Davis rolling the outside line. The back end kicked in from that first crash.
We look at the battle for the top dozen. But once, like Sean said, once Colin Keister gets to the end of this pack, they're side by side, and they're going to be running this outside line. It's going to be really interesting to see just how much Colin Keister struggles to get around these lap cars. They're not running much slower times. I'm just looking at like Christian Budd, for example. He's solidly in the 21st position. Ran a 15.9. Colin Keister ran a 15.78, so 2/10 faster. But once he loses that ability to like track out up against to the outside wall, this guy's battling side by side. It's been like this for like 15 laps. It's always fun to watch the back of these races, I tell you. But once Colin Keister catches these guys, he's going to have to navigate a lot of lap traffic, and that might allow guys like DeMerchant, Shelton, Brotherton to catch back up to this 33 Space Station racing machine.
It's certainly possible with the way these guys are racing, and you've got fast guys in this group. Spencer Burns is back there, Logan Helton, Tucker Minter. They've all slid to the back because of contact. But Colin Keister is slowly reeling these folks in. How about 3 wide off turn 4? Kyle Peddle has cracked the top 15, looking for 12th, trying to get by Farinars and Jamie B. Davis.
And we were talking about Kyle at the top of the show in the grid, how far back he was. Started 22nd in a 27 of unofficially 28 car field. He's climbed up to 14th now. Not too shabby at all for Kyle. We talked about how difficult it was to pass, and he's found some long run speed in that truck. The guys at Dead Zone trying to get these things tuned up. If you guys know anything about Dead Zone racing, they try their best to stay for their best stuff on the longer runs. But right now, Kyle's got nowhere to go. Freenage is making the bottom lane work in that number 5 iRacing Silverado, as the 64 truck of Jeremy Davis not giving the spot up lightly, and we could probably see Peddle run out of patience to try to split him up the middle as we head down the front.
You make a good point here, Sean, and actually, this is interesting. Unofficially, we're at a 27-car field. Number 28 is Caden Honeycutt, who is not on the racetrack. Honeycutt is only in by 19 points. He's 11th in the field on points. He already missed Rockingham and has 0 points as Davis just got the wall there in 3. Peddle's going to kick the door down and go underneath, but now the 5 is in the way of Farinars. He can't get anywhere.
And Kyle Peddle is just looking for any avenue to get around these guys. Eberhardt nearly makes contact with him. Maybe he did. Out of turn 2, these guys are bumping and banging Bristol style here at Bristol. Surprising to say the least. These guys finally getting into a nice groove here. But Eberhardt has been slowly but surely making his way through this field. And not Eberhardt, Freenage. I'm used to that 25. He's in the 5 tonight. But these guys still side by side. But I'm really curious to see if Peddle can get around these guys quickly, and if he can, I wonder if he's hurting his tires trying to navigate each lane as he's still struggling. Here he comes on the outside.
Farinars, he started in 5th, so he's dropped back since the drop of the green flag.
Oh, Peddle! Wow.
Oh, brother! Farinars actually started 6th, not 5th, but Peddle at least gets by. Now he's going to try and roll the bottom to get by Jeremy B. Davis. This is for 12th, but Peddle now bringing some friends with him. Nate Stewart is there. Michael Guerrilla is there. You've got Dalton Collins on the tail end of this train as well. Peddle gets by, and now Davis and Farinars are going to battle right in front of Nate Stewart.
And the bad news is for Jeremy Davis, they brought pretty much the rest of the field back with them. As you see, the line starts to get longer and longer the longer this battle goes on. Freenotch has been able to make the bottom lane work so far, but that top lane looks like it's starting to get gathered up. There goes Nate Stewart around the outside. You make up a lot of time entering the corner on the bottom, but all the time pretty much lost on exit, especially at this part of the run.
Let's go up front to the leaders, because Colin Keister has Derek Fulton in his sights here to put him a lap down. How about the battle for second, though? Liam Brotherton is in third, trying to work on Seth DeMerchant. Shelton has fallen back to fifth.
Yeah, keep an eye out on Brotherton. He got around Shelton a few laps ago, and he is one of the faster trucks on the track. Right now, he's trying to get around that Logitech Gialtis number 57, and he's one of the few guys in the first dozen or so cars. He's breaking this very outside line work to the best of its ability. He gets a great run off the corner, but we've seen now that this outside line has come in, it's been very difficult to pass, and we've seen people like Jeremy B. Davis. If we go back to that, they are still trying to get around him. The only driver that really has successfully gotten around Jeremy B. Davis is Pedal, and we talk about Freenotch being side by side with him. That was a battle for 13th at the time. He is now fallen all the way back to 17th position now.
Now Guerrilla is trying to get by him. A little bit of contact with the outside wall, I believe, for Davis. As Colin Keister's trying to work through lap traffic, he already got by Bolton. And he gets by Fenlison off the corner, but let's stay in with these guys here because it is a snarling pack. With Guerrilla now leading the way, Davis now with Dalton Collins right behind him. Stewart still stuck on the bottom. Freynars is there, and Kenny Brady has caught this pack. Collins going to send it in, slide it up. He's not clear. Look out.
Michael Guerrilla cleared himself off of turn number 2 laps ago. And Jeremy Davis got to be careful. I mean, he's holding all of these guys up. As we see, the rear end of that truck has already been fitted for a front end of a truck, but it might have a little bit more adjustments being made to that molding on the back of that truck if he's not careful. As Freenage is right back to the rear bumper, and I got to commend the patience of Drew. I mean, if he's been stuck trying to pass Jeremy Davis for it seems like 30 laps now, so you got to think the patience of that number 5 truck is wearing thinner and thinner the more corners these guys go through.
Yeah, because he's getting passed by Nate Stewart again here. Stewart's going to take the outside line. Kenny Brady is peeking down low. So Freynars, he is just struggling to get by this 64. I think he'll be all right once he gets by Jeremy B. Davis, but until that point, I think he's just going to want to rip the steering wheel in half, and these guys are only 4 seconds or less up the road from the race leader. The race leader can see this out the windshield right
there. He is. Yeah, make it about 3 seconds. Stewart just bodied Jeremy B. Davis going into turn 3. These guys are getting increasingly frustrated with this 64. Freenotch has got to be at
he's going around 100%.
Yeah, I was going to maybe mention, these guys have lost a ton of time as far as fall off is concerned. Qualifying times were in the 14 4s and 5s for the guys up front. These guys are running 16 3s now. So I know Justin talked about maybe going one run here, but this thing has a green flag feel. God forbid these guys get it together. As the number 5 goes down to the bottom. That is the number 5 of Kenny Brady. But I mean, it's something to think about here, guys. The fall off is pretty big, probably more so than in real life here at Bristol. Going to be something to see if some of these guys do end up hitting under green here.
2-second lead for Colin Keister. He is pulling away even through the lap traffic. As Nate Stewart right to the back bumper of Jeremy B. Davis getting into turn 1. I think they both got the outside wall. At least one of them did for a moment. Here's the onboard out the back of Davis.
Yes, you can.
That move by Kenny.
Wow. I know our producer, Zach Johnson, wants to look at other things, but this is the most exciting thing happening on the track right now. As we see Kenny, I can't even say people's names right now. Nate Stewart trying the bottom lane now under Jeremy Davis as Kenny Brady was finally able to pass Jeremy. And now it's Nate's turn to experience the pain of the bottom lane trying to pass Jeremy Davis. It is just so tough, and it's almost magnified twofold here. As here comes Freenotch, he's going to try it again, and more power to him. If it ain't broke, you might have to fix it with this scenario. But got to give it to Davis. I'm surprised that truck hasn't sustained more damage out of the frustration from the guys behind him.
You've got a bumper. I think now would be a time to use it. I know he's got the leader closing in behind him, but Do you want to be selfish? I want this spot. I'm tired of racing you for it, or just take it. I'll ride around, I guess. I guess that's the two sides of the story here for Freenage and maybe Nate Stewart, because he can't get by the 64 either.
Yeah, right now, Davis has about 6 snarling lead lap trucks.
Look at the time Kenny's put on.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane how much time, Jeremy is holding these guys up, because right now, that 33 is getting larger and larger, and he is making this inside line work. And, it's got to be frustrating for these guys to know that Jeremy is holding them up, and it may put them a lap down any lap now. Right now, Helton is on the verge of going a lap down. You got Seth Noel right in front of him as well. Max Brady and Freenage, I'm sure he is seeing some of these drivers ahead of him, like Brady, Kenny Brady, like Dalton Collins, who have now set sail from this battle. He's got to be furious when it comes to trying to get around this number 64 machine at this point.
Kenny Brady at least pitted. I think under that first caution, he's a lap down to pass these guys. We're trying to figure out if he actually has fresh tires or not. Justin says no.
No.
But he was in the box for 15 seconds. That's why unless he had 15 seconds worth of damage. But
damage, yeah, probably.
Nonetheless, Freenage still can't get by. And he can't get to the outside line because he's got Max Brady to the outside, and right behind him, the race leader, Colin Keister, is stuck in the middle of this hornet's nest here coming off turn 4.
I am biting my nails off of my fingers if I'm Colin right now. This is not the spot you want to be in. He is right smack in the middle of this pack we got going on here. And we've seen all the difficulty that everyone else has had trying to get by as Nate finally puts the bumper to Jeremy. Didn't move him at all. But he sees Colin coming up behind him, trying to lap him. And if I'm Jeremy Davis, I got to think the turn is coming. Nate Stewart pushing him down the backstretch, and this is where it'll get interesting. Here comes the leader to the bottom.
Oh, boy. He got into him again. They're getting into turn 3. Keister pulls to the inside. He can't get anywhere this time. We'll see if he can get anywhere next time, by. We're closing in on halfway. But man, oh man.
Wow.
Colin Keister still trying to get there. He's underneath Davis. Derek Fulton has parked the race truck. He's done for the night. He's already a lap down. Keister kind of pushes Davis a little wide, and he's finally clear off the corner.
These guys have to be so mad. He made that look so easy, and these guys are trying to still pass him.
Yeah, Keister, he's out of this snarling mess. Now, Brotherton's got to deal with it as well, and he did gain about a second on Keister, but now he's got to deal with Noel, Freenage. Oh, nearly contact. Maybe some contact there.
There was.
Helton trying to make that inside line work. He was at the tail end of this pack, and right now he's battling side by side now with Nate Stewart. That'll be for the 16th.
Oh,
more
Davis
contact.
almost got turned.
That rear bumper cannot get any more beat up. Everyone is mad.
Oh,
They're again into the wall.
He saved it.
3 wide. What a save by Davis. But this may be the beginning of the end of this holdup. But here comes Liam Brotherton in second, trying to get around these lap trucks as well. Jeez,
and that opened the floodgates. Here comes Brotherton to the inside of Davis. Christian Budd is there. Seth DeMerchant has caught this pack. That just allowed like 6 guys to finally get by Jeremy B. Davis.
I can't describe that.
Davis is pitting. Wow.
Here he comes, and I can say finally that the hostage situation Jeremy had on the field has been finally over. But that might open the floodgates here, Jacob. Pit stops might be starting pretty soon.
Well, nonetheless, we are at the halfway point in tonight's race, and it's time to bring you the iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in Australian supercars, IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, the World of Outlaws, and more. Colin Keister continues to lead the way. He's got a 2.5-second lead over Liam Brotherton. Excuse me. And Seth DeMerchant, Daniel Eberhardt, Brian Mercurio, your top 5. Agnell Phillip, Brandon McKissick, Nicholas Shelton, Michael Cozy Jr., Colin Bowden, the top 10. And I think I just heard Brian Mercurio say that he's pitting. Am I going crazy here?
That's what we were saying earlier with the floodgates opening. But 11th belongs to Donnie Strauss, Kyle Peddle 12th, Michael Grillia 13th, Dalton Collins 14th, Logan Helton being shown in 15th. Nate Stewart, Drew Freenage, Max Brady, Seth Noel, and Christian Budd make up the top 20.
21st is Spencer Burns. We'll have to get through this quickly because, like I said, Brian might be pitting here. A lot of these guys are pitting. Michael Finlayson's in 22nd. Kenny Brady, 23rd. Tucker Minner, 24th. Jeremy B. Davis, 25th. 26th is Derek Fulton. Brian Lockwood, 27th, and did not start tonight is Caden Honeycutt in 28th. But looking at the way this is settled out right now, guys, these guys pitting is going to be 3 laps down if you decide to pit under green. So a huge risk here, but a potential to have a really big reward.
Still not seeing any of the leaders come onto pit road. Had a couple in the back come on. Seth Noel, Tucker Minter, well, I think he's already, or no, he stopped again. Jeremy Davis, obviously. Kenny Brady just got onto pit road, but the leaders still staying out for the time being.
And the drive down pit road is excruciating. Seth Noel has been on pit road for almost a minute, and he's still not out of it. Okay, now he's out of it. So a total of 53 seconds spent on pit road between entry, stop, and exit for these guys. And these guys are, the leaders are lapping the track right now at 16 seconds. So as Kevin said, lots of time can be lost if these pit stops aren't executed correctly.
That concludes tonight's iRacing Midway Race Break. With over 170,000 drivers on the service and over 90 laser scan tracks and cars to choose from, iRacing is your portal to the racing world. Get on track today at iRacing.com. 110 laps complete, 90 to go from Bristol. This thing just keeps rolling along. We have the crash on lap 2. We've gone green the rest of the way. Colin Keister enjoying every second of it. Out in front by 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Keister barring a yellow. He is dominating here at Bristol. Behind them, they're side by side. That's going to be Seth Demerchant trying to lap the number 4 of Nate Stewart. He finally, oh, they made a little bit of contact out of turn 2 there. But Nate Stewart finally has a little bit of clean track. But look behind them. Here comes Kenny Brady on those brand new tires. He is flying 15.1 second lap last time by. So you get about a second, and if Kenny can, he might be able to unlap himself here. He was a lap down before this cycle of pit stops. He might be able to have a really big advantage here if this goes green all the way. And I don't see an indication of this not going green here, guys.
Freynars is coming onto pit road. First one inside the, well, I thought he was inside the top 10. He was actually like 15th, but he's coming onto pit road now.
Hey, close.
Well, we kept talking about him. I thought he was at the front of the field, but he was not.
Nate Stewart's pitting.
So really quick for you Caden Honeycutt fans that are still in here, he has come onto the track, made 3 laps. He's 112 laps down, and he's pulling onto pit road again. And, so I think he just wanted to.
No, he's not. Never mind.
And there he is. He's
points.
Getting the points. He just wanted to just get out there, do a couple laps, and I think that'll do it for Caden. So he did start the race. Just wanted to clear that up.
Start and park. Good old car long style out of Caden Honeycutt. But again, he's going to need help in 2 weeks when we go to Phoenix, just in case he has a bad run, and that could be it for him. Nate Stewart on pit road. Leader still out on the racetrack. And Josh Lee, one of the commentators from the other split, is in disbelief that we are on lap 118 out of 200 because I think they are still in the double digits.
I think we're in disbelief with them.
Yeah, I think his response is very fitting. Can't respond publicly to that, but hey, sure enough, we're having a really good split here in second split. This is the fun split. We're having a fun race here tonight. This pit strategy is going to be really interesting to see who this might be the only way Colin Keister does not win. Some of these guys that have ended up having to pit early because whether it being lapped or just being on the strategy. But going back to Caden Honeycutt, he was someone we interviewed a few weeks ago. He pretty much is a traveling sim racer at this point because of his late model touring, efforts that he's doing around the country. He pretty much just finds somebody that has a computer in iRacing and he races there. So give him credit where credit is due to get as many points as he has so far in this Road to Pro second round. But he's out there right now, and he's, he is 116 laps down. But Brian Lockwood's 98 laps down. That's a position right there.
That's a spot. That's a point that he gets. I think that's how the point system works.
Yeah,
we can make it to the end now when he came out.
Oh my! So yeah, everything got strung out here. Fastest lap, really, for Caden Honeycutt. Oh my goodness!
Is that a point in this series? Is that how that works?
14.7. Everybody else has been in the 15s except for Kenny Brady, who had a 14.9.
He's coming back in.
So Honeycutt 0.2 faster than the next fastest truck, and about at least 0.3 faster than everybody else in the field. He started 116 laps down, and he's pitting now for the second time.
He had some draft.
Maybe had a few set up in. He's only out there for your 3 laps. Got to get the sponsor out there. I think, he did what he needed to do. But one thing I'm looking at as far as the intervals, we still have an eye on Colin Keister right now. Currently, Liam Brotherton is faster, and he is catching our leader at the moment by about 1/10 a lap. He has now cut that margin to 1.6 seconds. Last time I looked at it, it was about 2.5 seconds. So Liam Brotherton slowly but surely maybe making a race out of this.
Just to go back to this, isn't the 15 unsponsored? Look at that race truck. There's not a darn sponsor on that thing. What sponsors is he helping by going out there running the fastest lap? Hold on.
Home Depot, the color white. Get it at your local Lowe's.
So another developing story here for all of this as we're talking about lap times. I mean, Colin he's still trying to put good laps out. I mean, Liam Brotherton, Seth DeMerchant, those 2 guys behind them, even though they're not very close, their times are very comparable. Seth was the fastest out of all 3 of those guys the last time by, but it's all a matter of what happens in between these runs. And right now, Colin definitely putting the best average lap time down, but you got to think, when is he going to make his pit stop, if he even is?
Kyle Peddle just came onto pit road. Dalton Collins, and somebody else.
Colin Bowden's coming in.
Bowden's coming in.
Oh, he almost hit the pit barrel. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Kyle Peddle almost did the same thing when he came on the pit road on the back straightaway. Got another one that tried it. I think that's Fairnars that got sideways. No, different iRacing truck that got a little sideways trying to get to pit road.
Really
aborted. He'll try it again.
Floodgates are opening here for pit road for sure.
Here we go. There he is.
That's Keister. Here we go. So Keister is in.
Liam Brotherton is not. So that is an interesting call there. As you see, Colin
he's coming in.
Now he's in. Here he comes.
Yeah, I think this is going to pretty much bring everybody in. Yeah, Mercurio's coming in.
DeMerchant staying out, though, for now. So Seth DeMerchant continues to lead the race.
You think these guys practice their green flag pit stops during testing?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
We're like, it's Bristol. We're not going to be going green in anytime soon here.
Phillips coming in.
We're not going to have 130 green flag, 130 lap green flag run. Come on now.
DeMerchant's still out there.
We could probably raid podium after our race is done, so that just rub it in a little bit. So
go catch the end of their race.
Yeah, there you go.
All 3 overtimes and everything.
Colin Keister is just now leaving pit road. That's how long it takes to go around this entire pit road under green. That has got to be annoying to realize. Yeah, I want to go probably 2, maybe 3 laps down just for a green flag stop. That's going to be frustrating. Shelton's in, by the way.
Is in, as is Agnell Phillip. He's in the box right now. So staying out, Cozy, DeMerchant, Strauss, Helton, Max Brady, Michael Fenlison. Those are the folks that are still out on the racetrack. So you got the 2 Logitech Altus G drivers out there, 1 and 2, and DeMerchant and Cozy. Strauss, the free agent who was with Elliott Sadler, as here comes, that's Colin Bowden passing passing DeMerchant here on the front straightaway. Blows by him like he's chained to a tree or something. And then here comes Tucker Minter right behind him as well. He pitted a little while ago. He's been on those tires for 35 laps, and he is still almost a second faster than DeMerchant.
Now, you got to figure that these guys up at the front are pretty much saying, oh, we have absolutely no faith in the rest of this field that they'll be able to keep it green and keep them from wrecking. So these guys are banking on that caution, because if the caution comes out, they're going to be, after the caution's done, 4 trucks on the lead lap. Cozy's just coming in now. He's in his pit stall. So he's ending that strategy. But this is a huge roll of the dice for guys like Seth and Donnie.
And so Cozy comes in. He's going to take the tires. He's going to take fuel. He's going to just regroup here with this pit stop. We are closing in on 60 laps to go. Still waiting on Strauss, Helton, Max Brady, and DeMerchant to come on to pit road. 4 trucks left.
And we just had some contact for Seth DeMerchant. He got involved with the number 36, who is very much off pace. Michael Fenlison is running 17.4 second laps. He is significantly off the pace, currently 2 laps down, and he has not even pit yet, so he is severely off track in terms of speed. But he's still out there logging laps. And someone else
and here comes Keister.
Keister to unlap himself.
See ya.
Yeah, he's now, I think, what, 1 lap down? He has now made himself only 1 lap down. But someone who is begging for a caution. Logan Helton was around 20th before this cycle started. If this ends up going green or under caution, he is now the lucky dog in 3rd position. So he is begging and crying right now for a yellow.
And you got to remember, Helton was the cause no, he wasn't the cause of the caution, but he had an incident early on this second green flag run that almost brought out the caution. So he would love to see one here and get himself back into this thing.
Oh man, I mean the way these new tires are catching the older tires on this track, they might happen as Nate Stewart just got really loose off of turn number 2 right in front of Colin Bowden. He's able to save it. But I mean, if these guys are racing as hard as they are now to try to make up as much spots while their tires are fresh, I think this gamble to stay out might pay off. There's no way these guys can race like this or 3 wide without wrecking in some way.
You wouldn't think, but you never know.
You never know.
Looking at the lap times right now, Seth DeMerchant just ran a 16.3. Our leader before all this settled out, Colin Keister, ran a 15.3. So if you know, they have about a 15 lap gap in terms of pitting.
Oh, caution's out.
There it is.
Wow.
2 cars on the lead lap. Oh, who's that? Tucker Minter. Oh my goodness, you gotta believe that's insane.
Oh, and he just hit the wall. He got pushed into the wall by Logan Helton, who we just talked about.
That'll negate his lucky dog.
He will not be the lucky dog. That's oh my god, you gotta be kidding me.
That's such a tough break for Logan Helton.
Pushed him wide, and it pushed Burns into the wall, and he spun it down the racetrack right in front of Colin Bowden. Spencer Burns brings out both caution flags thus far, and we get a caution inside 55 laps to go.
So watch the red car right there, the 63. The initial contact was right there going into 3. Spencer's all over the place, and Logan just pushes up and then just walls him. And then
we'll see how iRacing judge that, because it's all automated.
Does he get hit again?
They might let him have it. They might give him. It depends on how they do it. If it's an accident before or after the caution within like a certain amount of time, he may still.
No, it's official. Tucker Minter is getting the waiver out. So
he almost got involved here. Look at this. Look at the replay. Tucker Minter almost became part of this accident.
Watch the green and white car. There he is.
Now
if he hits the inside wall, they're evading that. He doesn't get it either. So that is a clutch job by Tucker Minter to keep that thing off of the truck and the wall to get his lucky dog. That'll vault him up to 3rd. That's how big of a move that was.
What an absolute turn of events.
Oh, man.
So, inside 50 to go on the restart.
There's the happiest man in the race right now is Seth DeMerchant right there. And that guy too, Donnie Strauss. 2 of 4 trucks in the lead lap right now. Can you believe that?
3.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Okay, so everybody else getting the wave around here. Helton, Keister, Brotherton, Davis. But here's the thing. Seth DeMerchant is going to be on the freshest tires, and not Strauss. It's going to be on the freshest tires. Everybody else going to be on older tires. Not too old, but still.
Oh, man.
This is going to be an interesting lineup, because we're going to have our top 2 in Donovan Strauss and Seth DeMerchant. Tucker Minter is the lucky dog. He will, depending on how many people take the wave around, he will probably be behind either very hungry drivers trying to get a lap back, or just in front of the wave around cars. We'll have to see how this all settles out. But I cannot believe this. This has been.
We spoke it into existence, Kevin. We talked about it, and we spoke it into existence.
So, how many cautions?
That's 2. So, do you think we get? I mean, we'll let the chat answer this. I mean, do you guys think we're going to get 5, 6? Does the race turn?
LeBron James, not 4,
not 5, not 6, not 7. We finished with 15 cautions with 50 to go.
Oh man, that is
what we wanted to see. not
1 lap to green.
Else did.
There go all the wave arounds.
So officially, as we're getting all the wave around, so on the lead lap as it stands right now, Cozy's getting his wave around. I think that's
going to get caught up all the way.
So it's going to put, there's 6 trucks on the lead lap, and then there are 13 trucks a lap down.
7 drivers between second and third on this restart, and these guys are still not caught up all the way.
Man.
Nope. But the
Here we
leaders
go,
in 3 and 4. Pace car is in. Godspeed. Green flag set the merchants going. And here we go. This is going to be it. The 31. Seth Noel got an awful restart. One down on the flat. That's Jeremy B. Davis. And we got the 91.
Dalton Collins around almost.
Hit one of the truck barely. Stewart down on the flat. Here comes Davis. Up the middle comes the 57 of Max Brady. Here comes the 5 of Freynars. Like he shot out of a cannon up on the high side. This is going to be fun the rest of the way.
Man, we talked about chaos at the start of the broadcast. This is the definition of it. So they get it together. Dalton Collins.
Oh! Trouble!
57 Max Brady around Tucker.
Back in from the field. Oh, no!
They made it. Max Brady got turned coming off turn 4 by Jeremy B. Davis. Davis got loose, came down into Max Brady, and it was just a little bit of contact that sent that 57 sideways. We'll get a replay here in a moment.
To see what happened here with Max Brady. I mean, are we surprised at this point? The way this restart transpired, waiting for a replay. By the way, Logan Helton looks like he will get his lucky dog back after that, but it looks like, everyone's favorite enemy this week, or this evening, Jeremy B. Davis gets involved with Max Brady there. Thankfully,
just got loose.
Really got involved. Yeah, just, it is what it is. But look at this. This is what basically stacked these guys up. I don't know why they're running on the apron, but, I guess do what you need to do. But this pretty much stacked up the whole field.
The fastest way around is the shortest way around, and some of those guys took it literally. Nonetheless, we're going to go side by side. We'll come back for the restart and then the next caution right after this.
Oh, my goodness.
Settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
This, our series,
so many different pieces that you have to watch out for,
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
The second round of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series on Podium Esport is brought to you by Makoni Setup Shop. There are setups, but your victories. And by Martin Sports. Use code PODIUM to receive 40% off any stock racing glove at martinsports906.com. Half a lap to green here at Bristol. 40 to go on the restart. Jacob Hitz, Sean Butler, Kevin McAdams with you for the call. Justin Malillo down on pit road. Zach Johnson, our producer. Seth DeMerchant, Donnie Strauss leading us back to green. We've got 6 on the lead lap. And again, 40 laps to go. Green flag to turn 1.
All 3 wide already. And Jeremy Davis tries to squeak up the middle of all these guys. Down straight away.
Pedal hard into the wall.
Oh, tough break for Pedal. That's a shame.
Man.
He got turned by the 21 of Christian Budd. They were 3 wide, and Pedal just didn't have enough room. Michael Guerrilla got a piece of it, and that was a hard hit for the 13.
Guerrilla was also involved there. He got a piece of it, getting a replay here. These guys pretty much stacked up. I don't know if Pedal knew he was down there. He kind of just came down a little bit on the exit of turn 2, and that slingshot, that 13, right up against the fence, and Guerrilla just had nowhere to go. And that total advantage, number 15. Get another view of it here, and yeah, it's hard to say for sure, but it looked like Pedal just kind of came down, and these guys were a lap down. Actually, yeah, just on the very tail end of 1 lap down here. So we're gonna have to re-rack them once again. We were worried about this, cautions, breeding cautions, and these guys are going at it right now in the chat. Holy moly!
Did you see Tucker Minter miss? Holy cow!
The second time Tucker's had to make a great avoidance. Here's the wreck happening. He has no clue where he's gonna go when he's right in front of him.
Why is Tucker Minter a lap down? He was just on the lead lap. What happened to him? Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, he was in that last wreck. He spent 43 seconds on pit road the last time he was there. I think that's why he is
can't miss them all.
Now a lap down. 7 trucks down the lead lap. Jeremy B. Davis just got the free pass.
Oh boy, that's
those still a lap down. Nicholas Shelton, Colin Bowden, Cozy. Oh, let's see.
Freenage, Mercurio, McKissick.
Freynars, McKissick, a lot of guys that were faster. Jeremy B. Davis was a roadblock at one point in this race. He is on the lead lap in 7th. How the turntables here.
Whoever's writing the script for this race is an evil person. They just want to see the most chaotic race that we can possibly fathom here. And for all intents and purposes, Kevin, for the first 3/4 of this race, it's been perfectly fine. But now the last part since the caution came out, chaos.
Well, we were talking about maybe sending our audience over to podium, but at this rate, we may be the ones getting the raid, because right now these guys are just caution after caution after caution. And we, I think we're all pleasantly surprised to see, hey, we got about 120 green flag laps here, but right when we were worried about caution potentially coming out and these guys basically begging for it, was spoken into existence, as you said.
It's got to hurry up. We got to make Moon Car tonight, so they got to hurry this thing up.
Oh, yeah. What a race. I can't even.
This has been, for all intents and purposes, probably the most drama-filled race that we've had. We've checked all the boxes. We've had
Bristol, baby. Talk about drama.
We've had strategy come into play. We've had very good racing. We've had tempers being flared. I'm sure if we were actually here, punches being thrown. But right now, Jacob, it's I think we're not even close to scratching the tip of the iceberg of what's going to come in this race. We still got plenty of time for more stuff to unfold.
Like Moonhead calls it, we got beef. And we have definitely had a little bit of beef tonight. Speaking of beef, I don't know what this transition has anything to do with it, but Justin Malillo down on pit road, you got anything for us?
Well, I don't know where to go from there, but thanks for that. We only got 7 cars in the lead lap. Jeremy B. Davis, he's going to have the freshest tires here, but he's going to have to start at the back of the pack. They're rounding the back stretch, so they're going to be coming to the green here. But, yeah, I don't think these guys are coming in for the rest of the race. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Justin. We appreciate it.
For the drivers, because right now I don't know who needs more luck. This has been nuts.
Here we go. Pace car is in. DeMerchant stacks the field up, then gets on the gas. Green flag inside. 35 laps to go. You've got Donovan Strauss in second. Colin Keister's on the back door, looking to the inside for second. Here he goes.
The stack up commences. Here comes Strauss to the outside, Keister to the inside. They're a big pack off of turn 4 super. Oh, yes. Here comes Strauss to the lead in turn 1 and 2.
Doesn't quite have the run on the bottom. Strauss rolling the bottom, can't get there. DeMerchant rolled the outside line, now cuts to the bottom now that he's clear by a good 2 truck lengths. But Strauss rolls it back in on the bottom in 1.
Donovan Strauss trying to make that very inside line work, but we've seen all night, boys. That outside line is where you're going to want to pass the guy in front of you. But right now, Seth Merchant opened up the gap, going sideways in the middle of the track.
He saved it.
What a save!
Max Brady.
Oh my goodness, what a save.
Wow.
He's right in the middle of the pack, but these guys continue to go green, and that has allowed the field to single file out, but they fan out in the middle of the corner.
Keister in third, Liam Brotherton knocking on the door. Then you've got Daniel Eberhardt. We haven't talked about him much tonight. He has snuck into position number 5, and that thing looks strong.
And that's big because during that green flag pit stop cycle, Eberhardt actually missed the entry to pit road. He had to hit the brakes, go back around again, and lose a lot more time to be in the position that he's in to have a chance to win this thing is a great job for Eberhardt. He's got a lot of work to do up front, though. He's got a lot of fast race trucks in front of him as we're looking back currently now on board as we're looking into turn number 1. Here comes that 23 truck of Eberhardt. He's not done, but up front, it's getting tighter and tighter as we head into turn 3.
Oh, Kenny Brady almost lost his life trying to make moves in the back of the field. He tried to get behind Colin Bowden. He almost got killed. He's able to hang on, though.
Oh.
And Kenny Brady he's going to keep on trucking back there. We'll see how long it lasts. He's P13 a lap down.
If that isn't hyperbole on a broadcast, I don't know what is. Side by side, that'll be right now for the 10th position. These guys jostling for the lucky dog spot. McKissick has it. Then you got Mercurio and Shelton battling for the 10th position. I'm sorry, that's the 9th position. Right in the middle of that, you got a battle for 21st and 22nd, 2 laps down. Despite all these guys being multiple laps down, these guys are still battling for position and in front. Here comes Eberhardt once again around trying to get underneath Brotherton.
Shout out to Caden Honeycutt, by the way, still out on the racetrack.
All right.
He's only 154 laps down, so he needs 150, probably about 200 cautions to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, never say never, you know.
Get unlimited green white checkers. We might get there.
All right, so we got the battle for, what is this right now? It's 5th right now is heating up, well, 4th, excuse me. Daniel Eberhardt, man, we haven't talked a lot about him as Jacob mentioned, but what a recovery by him as we look out the back of Colin Keister's truck. Eberhardt's able to make the pass. Brotherton concedes the spot. This would be, I think, a top 5 is a win in this sense for Eberhardt tonight. He has had really bad luck so far, but great job recovering and finding himself in a shot to win this thing.
A great job for Daniel Eberhardt, who sits 13th in points, only 7 above the cut line. So Eberhardt putting together a good run. He struggled at Homestead a little bit, had a bad finish at Watkins Glen. He was able to rebound Rockingham at Texas. So a great run for the driver of the 23 tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like he has set a trend. He didn't really qualify that well at Texas. We talked about him pretty much all night at Texas, making his way through the field, has done the same thing, battled adversity, nearly hitting the pit barrels. He is now solidly in the top 5, and he will have to do that again next week at Phoenix. But as we go further back in this pack, these guys are still side by side. Brandon McKissick still the lucky dog. Tucker Minter back in the pits, but things starting to settle out as we are at 19 laps to go, and dare I say it, trending green.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of green, here comes Nicholas Shelton to the inside. Agnell Phillip, that is for P9. That thing got a little sideways off of turn 4, but he cut to the bottom and looks like he's going to try and make it work here.
Kevin just trying his best to create as much chaos.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know.
Well, we know what you're doing, but these guys are just battling all out as much as they have left in these trucks. There you see Shelton trying to make the most of it on the bottom of the racetrack. It's so tough to pass, as we've touched on a lot in this race so far, but the front 4 have broken away. I'm not sure what happened with Liam Brotherton's truck, but he is definitely not as fast as he was in the early stage of this race. He's got Nate Stewart closing in on him in a hurry.
Nate Stewart, and he was trapped behind Jeremy B. Davis forever ago. Of course, Nate Stewart a lap down back in 19th. But that thing certainly has some speed to it. If only he was on the lead lap, things would be in a lot different situation for the driver of the 4th truck. As we are inside 15 laps to go, Seth DeMerchant out in front. 0.3 of a second is the gap between himself and Donovan Strauss. Keister and Eberhardt, though, they are all accordion behind this 51.
Yeah, talking about Eberhardt earlier, he is the fastest of this front 4. Over and over again, he has been posting the best laps of these guys up front. Keister trying to get around Strauss, but Keister also having to worry about Eberhardt in that 4th position. But every single lap, these guys battle, and maybe once they get side by side, I think that'll be the one thing that DeMerchant needs to solidify his lead here. But right now, DeMerchant is starting to open it up. He has now opened it up to about a 3.5 tenth gap here with, was it 11 laps to go? And we may be setting sail here, boys.
Gotta wait and see. It's not over until you see the white flag in the air. But I think the big battle right now, back here, holy cow, Shelton is back there, Brandon McKissick, Agnell Phillip on the inside. He got the 31 there as well.
Got a lucky dog, too. Ooh.
Yeah, this is a hornet's nest with 10 to go.
So this is where the action is going to happen. If we are going to have another wreck, it might just originate right here. So Brandon McKissick trying to hold all these guys off. You got Agnell Phillip.
Keister.
Wow.
What a move.
Oh, here comes Eberhard down the back.
You're going to try to do the same thing?
Twofer.
This is all Seth DeMerchant wants to see, is these guys battling hard here. Inside of 10 to go, Jacob, as Eberhard makes the pass.
Let's go.
Now he's going to cross him over, and he's going to clear down the back. This is...
And here we go again in a 3. Eberhard sends it. Oh, he's loose. Here comes Strauss back on the bottom.
Gosh.
What a race.
And Brotherton's going to catch these guys. He's right there now, so we talked about him.
Keister flying.
Yeah, he's served up on a roll right now. He is coming in a hurry.
Oh, man, it's not over at all.
A 10th faster than DeMerchant.
Another 10.
The last couple of laps.
Wow.
Here we go. 6 to go. Coming to 5 at the line.
5.91 for DeMerchant. 5.28 for Keister. He catches them again. They're still trying to battle here from 3rd to 5th. But we're going to have to keep an eye on this battle. Once again, another 10th in the bag for Keister. He's making that outside line roll with 5 laps to go.
Seth DeMerchant is going to have to be on the defensive. How does he keep this 33 in his mirror? Keister has been, no doubt, the dominant truck of the night. Keister looking for his 3rd win in a row. He's there, up in the marbles, kept it out of the wall. Coming to 3 to go, guys.
Keister puts himself in a fantastic spot here as he slides nearly gets into the wall. That's what DeMerchant needs. Puts another 10th on him. 2 laps to go now. Does DeMerchant have anything left to withstand Keister's charge?
Well, Marty Reed, that's 3 to go, but nonetheless. Keister, I think that slide may have hurt him just enough. I think it may have cooked his tires a little bit, and he lost too much time. Now we're at 2 to go. Sends it deep off into turn number 1. He's going to have one last shot as they come through 3 and 4. Eberhard was sideways behind him, but he hangs on to it. This is the white flag. 1 lap to go. I'll be darned, we're going to make it. 1 to go at Bristol. Keister on the inside. He's there, side by side for the lead in turn 3, or turn 2. Here we go. DeMerchant on the high side. He's going to take the defensive line. Keister runs it in too deep. He drifts it through the corner, and Seth DeMerchant's going to win at Bristol. What a finish.
What a race. Seth DeMerchant hangs on, benefits from that caution. He stayed out about 15 to 20 laps later than all these guys that pitted, and it will pay off. And once again, guys, a Logitech G Altus VRS truck wins in our split.
How about that? Seth DeMerchant with the win. A whopping 7 trucks finish on the lead lap. I mean, wow. What a night.
It's going to be a very popular win here. Seth, one of the coolest guys on the service. There you see his trademark. This is going to be a celebration right here, but great job by Seth. He could drift around this whole track again if he wants. He could do another 200 laps just drifting around here. But excellent job by Seth.
Teammate behind him. Cozy was chasing him down.
Cozy was happy on the radio as well. Cozy was yelling on the radio. In fact, he was so happy. So good showing here by the Logitech G Altus guys. Last week it was Jordy Lopez, or 2 weeks ago it was Jordy Lopez. This week it's Seth DeMerchant. These guys are on a roll, and as Kevin said, what a race. Easily the best race of the season, if you're asking me.
And of course, they're over at 17 to go in the other split.
We win.
So we beat him by a good bit. Nonetheless, Seth DeMerchant is the winner. He's either going to run the tires straight off the truck, or he's going to run out of fuel, or he's going to put it in the safer barrier. One of the 3. Nonetheless, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, Seth DeMerchant might stop running laps. We'll have to wait and see. We'll go through the results. We'll talk to our winner. We'll talk to our top 3 right after this here on Podium Esports.
How does he do that?
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome you back here to Podium Esports coverage of the second round of the eNASCAR Auto Pro Qualifying iRacing Series. There you see our Martin Sports winning moment. The battle for the lead on the last lap between Seth DeMerchant and Colin Keister. Keister just overdove a little bit. DeMerchant got a good enough run on the outside line off of 2 where he was able to get to the line first and take his first win on the season. As I mentioned while we were in break, Seth DeMerchant coming into tonight has led 1 lap this season. A great night for the driver of the 57. Let's take a look at our finishing results. Here from Bristol, Seth DeMerchant the winner, Colin Keister in second, Donovan Strauss in third, Daniel Eberhardt fourth, Liam Brotherton finishing in position number 5, Logan Helton, Jeremy B. Davis, Agnell Phillip 1 lap down in 8th, everybody behind this point a lap down or worse, Nicholas Shelton 9th, Brandon McKissick rounding out the top 10.
Colin Bowden will come home in 11th. Kenny Brady 12th. Michael Cozy Jr. 13th. Christian Budd will finish 14th. Brian Mercurio 15th. Max Brady will come home in 16th. Michael Grillia 17th. Drew Freenodge brings us home in 18th. Nate Stewart 19th. And Kevin Dalton Collins will round out the front 20.
Seth Noel will finish in 21st. Michael Finlayson, 4 laps down, finishes in 22nd. Tucker Minner, tough break all night, involved in many accidents, will finish in 23rd. Spencer E. Burns, 24th. Kyle Peddle, a huge incident out of turn 2, will round out our top 25. Derek Fulton, 120 laps down, 26. Caden Honeycutt, a valiant effort, will come out 122 laps down, did get around. Brian Lockwood, who will be our 28th place finisher, he will be our last driver, 179 laps down.
Hey, he did make laps. He did, I believe. Yes, he still held the fastest lap of the race. After all of that, hey, Caden Honeycutt, 122 laps down, finished with a 14.749, the fastest lap of the race. Let's talk to our top three. We start with position number 3 and the newly free agent Donovan Strauss, who is with Sean Butler.
Donnie, what an eventful week, an eventful race for you tonight. Started 13th here, midway through the pack. You're able to come home with a podium finish. Just tell us how the heck you're able to avoid all the carnage and get your truck on the podium here tonight.
So obviously, I'm locked in. So I mean, I was like 11th or 12th on pace tonight. I was running like 10th before everyone started pitting. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go all the way on fuel and just hope a yellow comes out. And I had 4 laps of gas left, and a yellow came out, and I was screaming. I was so happy. I was like, I've been getting screwed on cautions over the past like year and a half in this, and they finally like catch a break on one, like a lucky break like that. It's just huge. And we thankfully there's only like 7 trucks on the lead lap, so I didn't have to pit the rest of the way. And I knew I didn't have anything for Colin really, but I think if Colin wasn't there, I could have got to Seth. But obviously I knew if I let Colin go there at the end, he had a chance at Seth, so I was just hoping something would happen and I'd be able to get third. But we will take a third.
Yeah, we were talking about that during that whole green flag run there. I mean, you, Seth, all those guys up at the front were practically, we say you were begging for a caution at this point. And we got to have the same reaction too, because when the caution came out, we kind of started yelling too. I can imagine what you guys were doing in the car as well. But what an eventful race for you, man. You did a great job picking your way up through the field, playing the strategy right. So tell us, you're going into Phoenix now. You're locked in, as you mentioned. What's the mindset for you going overall? Are you going to kind of take it easier going into Phoenix, or is it still take it like you've been doing every single week?
Well, I kind of still want to finish first in points, so we're gonna go after that, and we're gonna try and still win the race. But obviously, I'm just gonna have fun with it, and not gonna stress myself out about it, and just have fun and take it in that we're locked into the Pro Series, because obviously haven't been in a spot like to be locked in before, because last year I entered Phoenix going in, I was only like plus 10, and that was with the old point system, so that was not many points at all. So we'll just have fun with it and try and get a win.
Absolutely. So like your season's been going, so you've been fast all year. We can imagine more of the same going into Phoenix. But Donnie, we'll let you go, man. Celebrate that finish, rest up for a little bit. I know it was a pretty hectic night all around for the race, but great job wheeling that thing to third, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Real quick, I just want to thank Nutrient Ag Solutions for their support this round, and I want to thank Vicente and JD for sticking with me after I left DSC, obviously, and yeah.
There you go. There you have it, guys. Jacob, big night for Donnie. Again, congratulations, man. Go get him in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Jake, back to you.
Donnie Strauss on the rebound. Had his worst finish at Texas. Finishes in third place tonight, continuing the streak of 6 straight top 10 finishes, 5 top 5s. Let's talk to our second place finisher, the guy that had won 2 in a row coming into tonight. He's been on fire. Colin Keister, who's with Kevin McAdams.
Well, Colin, first off, I'd like to say thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Colin.
It's always hard to get you in here, but we appreciate it. But tell us about your race tonight, man. You had to deal with a lot of adversity. You had to deal with lap traffic. You had to deal with pitting under green, dealing with much faster tires than that. And then you had to deal with that inevitable caution. Tell us your emotions throughout this entire event.
Yeah, they were really good up until we made those green flag stops. I was skeptical of pitting early, but I didn't want to stay out too late, and I decided to make a pit stop there. And I think those guys only had maybe 5 laps of gas left when that yellow came out. That was unfortunate, but I was able to get back on the lead lap and try to mount a comeback to the lead. But I got close, but came up 1 spot short.
Yeah, we saw you in Demerch, and you guys got side by side there. How hard was it? You didn't have to be, passing a lot of trucks tonight, but how hard was it really to pass here, especially as the run went on here at Bristol? I know they added a little bit of grip to that inside line, but just how difficult was it for you guys to really make up positions on the track?
At the beginning of the run, it was very difficult for me because my truck was hitting the track for the first couple laps, but once we got to the long run, I had pretty good center turn, and it wasn't too difficult to make a pass.
Well, we go into Phoenix. I know you're pretty good pretty much everywhere. I've known you for a very long time, but what do you think you have for these guys as we go into our final round here at Phoenix in your space station racing number 33?
I hope we bring another good piece and try to compete for a win. I'm pretty sure I'm locked into the Pro Series, so I'm going to go out there and try to get a W.
We'll have to just calculate the points. I know Justin is hard at work right now trying to get that, but congratulations, Colin, on another good finish, and hopefully that momentum sticks with you as they go into Phoenix in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
That is Colin Keister. Back to you, Jake.
He's got the calculator out. It's smoking. He's gonna be having a lot of fun putting together all the calculations for the next 2 weeks. How about this? Race winner, Seth DeMerchant, here from Bristol. Seth, Colin was able to pass you earlier on in the race. That was on a longer run. What was going through your mind when you saw Keister get past Donovan Strauss and start reeling you in there in those last 5 laps?
Oh, man, I was starting to get worried because at the beginning of the race, he just had so much more pace than I did. Like, I felt like I wasn't able to run the same pace as him and also keep my tires on. And I knew as soon as he got by Donnie that he was going to get to me before the end, and he was going to have a shot to try to get by me there. But we were able to hold him up just enough, and he had to slip up with about 2 to go. That gave me just enough of a gap to then be far enough ahead so where he wasn't side by side with me going into 3 and 4 in the last lap, and still holding on.
A great run for you tonight. Coming into tonight, you had led 1 lap this season. You led a lot more tonight. Able to get the win. Talk about the momentum that this is going to give you moving forward into Phoenix in 2 weeks, and then eventually, potentially, the contender round. As of right now, points are official based off of what we use. You're sitting P6 with the drop, 36 points to the good. So where do you see this taking you moving forward?
Yeah, I think stress-free. I feel like coming into this race, I was already locked in just from starting. So that's kind of what got me the win. Is we went in there and we saw an opportunity when Colin pitted to try to hope for a caution and stay out, and luckily we were able to get one right as I was pitting. I almost ran out of gas coming into my box under the caution, and then just able to hold on. But yeah, I'm hoping we can perform better in the Pro Series this year. Whatever, I forgot what they're calling it, the new name, but last year we struggled in qualifying, and that kind of hurt us through the whole thing. And I'm really hoping that this year we can put it all together and get into Coke.
Well, congratulations on the win, first one of the season, and we will see you in 2 weeks at the finale at Phoenix. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Seth DeMerchant, race winner tonight from Bristol Motor Speedway. I can't believe this, but we're already at the end of the road. We've got 1 race left. Looking in at points, Justin doing the calculations, or taking the calculations for somebody else. It doesn't matter. We have them, and that's what matters.
I'm doing math over here.
I know you are. I just wasn't sure because I saw...
Show your work.
I saw the points change after I saw your message, so I wasn't sure which happened first.
Carry the 1 first.
I definitely found X.
Strauss is in. Keister is locked in. Retzlaff is locked in. Briar LaPrade is locked in. Jordy Lopez Jr. locked in. DeMerchant locked in. Cody Bias is locked in. Brian Mercurio locked in. What the... confusion, just because Mercurio is behind Bordeaux in
the
points.
Drop week.
With the drop.
Without the drop, with the drop.
So is Bordeaux not locked in?
He's not.
He's got to find. He's got to find the slope first. Hold on.
The question is, did he have possession?
There's a reason that I don't do math. This is it right here.
These are all unofficial, guys. Don't take my word for it.
You'll find out where everybody is in 2 weeks' time when we come back for Phoenix. Those on the outside that are out, this list is long. Lockwood, Dalton Collins, we talked about him tonight. Let's see, anybody else? Christian Budd, Seth Noel, Derek Fulton, he was out early. That's it. Aaron Rodgers, not the quarterback who was also not the host of
I don't blame him not being here.
Knew it was
After
coming.
his performance Sunday, I was wondering if maybe Jeopardy would suit him just because of how he played, but nonetheless.
Wow.
Like I mentioned, we're almost at the end of the road. We've got one broadcast left here on Podium with, the Three Stooges and Justin, I guess. What a race tonight, though. Certainly a lot of fun. Oof. We thought it was going to be a crash fest, and we only had, 3 cautions, guys?
Yeah, I got to say, this was probably one of the most entertaining, probably the most entertaining Bristol race I've ever watched, really. I mean, if we're getting down to it, it had everything, like we say, from drama, crashing, drivers yelling at each other, virtual punches being thrown. And at the end, what a finish. And the race that led up to that finish was worth the price of admission. But big congrats to Seth the Merchant, man. So good to see him get a win and essentially bring him into the next round of the Contender Series. But so I got one more week of Phoenix. Still more sparks can fly, but gonna have a lot on their plate next week to try and top what we saw at Bristol here tonight.
For sure. And it's something, I agree with you there, Sean. We've commentated 4 or 5 of these Bristol races. They're always chaotic, but I think tonight was one of the most competitive races we've seen out of these Road to Pro guys. They have delivered over and over again. And we're at Phoenix, and Phoenix, maybe a boring race for most of these drivers, but we have a really good field of trucks, and there's going to be a lot of points on the line, and we may be in store for a very good race out in the desert. I'm really excited. I hate that the season's already almost over. Obviously, we'll end up working together again, but I think this has probably been one of the most fun set of races I've ever done as my short life as a commentator. It's been a really good time.
We need to figure out some way to get the 3 of us and Justin all together for a series that lasts longer than 7 weeks. I think we can invest in that. We can make it work somehow, some way.
Stay tuned.
Let's take a look at what's upcoming here
Allegedly.
on Podium Esports. Yeah, right. The MSRA Premier Series, the round of 16 cutoff from Bristol. That is Saturday night at 8 o'clock here on Podium 2, as well as on the Podium Facebook and Twitter. The SimMax Cup Series powered by MPI. Their All-Star race is Sunday, September 19th, 9:15 p.m. start time over on Podium Esports Twitch. On Tuesday, from Watkins Glen, Operation eMotorsport, 8 o'clock start on the Operation Motorsport YouTube, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Oh boy, Talladega in 2 weeks. That is Tuesday, September 28th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the iRacing Twitch. The PCA Sim Racing Series, they're at Silverstone 2 weeks from yesterday, September 29th, 9 o'clock over on the PCA Sim Racing YouTube. And then in 2 weeks,
Here we are.
The finale. The eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series Round 2, Race 7 from Phoenix, 9 o'clock Eastern start time on September 30th. You got the top split over on Podium Esports Twitch. You got us, the fun split, over on Podium 2. It's been a lot of fun. And 2 weeks from now, I'm sure we're going to make that a darn good show. It'll be a lot of fun then as well. But that is what's coming up here on Podium Esports. And that is it for us tonight. For Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Gary Sexton, Cisco Scaramuza, and John Theodore at Podium Esports. For our producer, Zach Johnson, Eric Messer, our social media guru. And for Sean Butler, Kevin McAdams, and Justin Malillo, I'm Jacob Hitz, the voice of Podium 2. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast. And we will see you in 2 weeks for the finale from Phoenix. Till then, good night.
Good job, Seth.